Well, it's Monday, friends. The weekend's gone, and we're talking about The Raven on DVD. Happy Monday. How was your weekend? Was it good? I hope. Did you watch anything great? We did. In fact, we watched The Raven. The Raven with good old John Cusack. Neither here nor there, he's a pretty good actor. He's done a lot of things that are great. Now he seems to be a mouthpiece for politics and stuff, but that's nothing new. That's Hollyweird. Who here is a fan of Edgar Allan Poe? Fact, the last 5 days of Edgar Allan Poe's life are a mystery. And after those 5 days, he was found on a park bench talking nonsense and then died. So what has happened? Two writers took that fact and other facts about Edgar Allan Poe and also rumors, and they have made a story of what could be those 5 days, what could have happened on those 5 days. This is nothing new. In fact, I find it quite interesting. And we're talking about this, like, I owned this movie because I like it a lot, but I hadn't seen it since it came out. But Irish Not Sane, one of our subscribers, one of the people that comments here all the time, we have conversations with, recommended this for the holiday. You know, Halloween, scary stuff. Not so much scary, but pretty darn spooky, and we're going to get into it. Let's take a look at what it is, in case you don't know. And that's right. I've already told you kind of what it is, but let's look at it. The Raven 2012, rated R, 1 hour and 50 minutes. When a madman begins committing horrific murders inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's works, a young Baltimore detective joins forces with Edgar Allan Poe to stop him from making his stories a reality. Directed by James McTeigue, written by Hannah Shakespeare and Ben Livingston. Yeah, I can't speak English, friends. Sorry. Starring John Cusack as Edgar Allan Poe, Luke Evans as the detective, and Alice Eve as the love interest of Poe. You can watch this right now on Prime. Get to it. But after you watch this video, let's talk about it, shall we? So as I said, I have the DVD of this. I have no idea if there's an updated version of this, like Blu-ray. I'm certain there's probably not a 4K, which is sad, because this movie's pretty dark. I mean, color-wise. But it looks fantastic. And this DVD comes with deleted and extended scenes, an audio commentary with the director and 3 of the producers. I guess John Cusack didn't have time to come and talk about his movie. Neither did Luke Evans. Who knows? Maybe they weren't asked. I don't know. If you've not seen this, I mean, it's got pretty cool artwork too. Look, friends, this is a spooky movie. It's about a serial killer using Edgar Allan Poe's work to kill people. And basically, it's a challenge to Poe. Because at this point in Poe's life, he didn't have much left to give, literary-wise. Now, it's a pretty well-known fact that some of his, like back then, copyright wasn't a thing. So once he wrote it and it was published, say he got $9 for something, well, at that point, anybody could reprint it anywhere. And then they would get the money, the profit, and Poe would get nothing. So at the end of his life, he had no money. And he was quite the drunk, as well as opium lover, evidently, and wasn't in the best shape. John Cusack plays that extremely well in this movie, and it looks fantastic. He does a great job and does look like Poe for the most part. Alice Eve did a great job as the love interest. I mean, there's many other people, like well-known people in this. Brendan Gleeson is in this. Kevin McNally. There's a lot of great actors and actresses in this. And overall, it's a great story. Luke Evans does great as the young detective that nobody respects because he's so, like, his brain is just perfect to be a detective, but he's unproven. So he gets grief from all the older cops and the higher ups, and he just wants to solve this. I would even go so far as to say he is probably one of the best characters in the movie. I would like to see more about that guy. And John Cusack he's done so many good things. And unfortunately, his career now is just muddled and marred by his outpouring of nonsense, like political nonsense, coming from a rich guy that is in a bubble. I don't understand why actors and actresses feel the need to try to tell us poor folk how to live when they don't live in the same world we do at all. So it's weird, and it makes me not like him as a person, but he definitely has a huge catalog of movies that I love. I've always been a huge fan of some of his work. Grosse Point Blank is one of my favorite movies. It's just a great movie. And then you got the one with Demi Moore, One Crazy Summer. That movie needs a 4K. It's such a good movie. I know they just brought out Better Off Dead in a 4K. I don't own it yet. It's expensive. I'll get to it eventually. But he's a great actor. I wish they could just be quiet instead of being so vocal. Social media has made it where actors you can't go a day without hearing them say something. And a lot of the times it doesn't make any sense. It's just their idea of what America is when they live up there on that hill away from all us poor people that they occasionally throw some crackers at or some pieces of bread and whatever. But this story about Edgar Allan Poe, John Cusack pulls it off brilliantly. I believe him as Edgar Allan Poe, and it is a hero's journey for Edgar Allan Poe and Luke Evans as the detective. Edgar Allan Poe starts this movie off, and he's just a drunk that nobody respects. He has nobody likes him because he's rude and thinks he's better than everybody else, which does not fit with the actual visual of him because he's poor and has nothing. Not even credit to buy a drink. But as the movie goes on, you see him change from scene to scene. Like, yeah, he's going crazy. But by the end of it, he does the heroic thing, the selfless thing. And Luke Evans goes full tilt, head against the wall to get the job done. Everybody in this did a great job. There's nobody in this movie that was just not trying as hard as they could, and it pays off. Only thing I did not like about it was the end music on the credits, that's no big deal. It just wasn't my jam, right? But from the opening scene in this movie, the way it plays out, the journey you get taken on, it's a delight. A delight. And if you haven't watched this, if you don't own it, I would suggest putting it in your collection, even if it's just the DVD. As I said, I haven't looked to see if there's a better version. Here's a simple truth, friends. DVD is perfectly fine. Sometimes it feels like, especially when there's so many versions of a film done by the boutique labels, sometimes it feels like we're not happy with what we have because we're being told it's not good enough. I thoroughly enjoy watching DVDs. Even if there's better options out there for a certain movie, if all I have is the DVD, when I sit down to watch it, at no point am I like, man, that audio's messed up. Man, that picture's not good enough. I'm happy that I own it. And maybe you guys should be too. Like, maybe that's a discussion that needs to be had. It's great to buy 4Ks and Blu-rays and get the best. You want the best version possible. But on occasion, probably more than we'd like to say, we're probably getting taken for a ride by some of these studios because they like money, which is fine. But at what expense? This is how we got into the streaming mess to begin with, where you don't own anything. Anyway, hey, that's it, friends. I'm going to end it there. It's time to finish off the rest of my day, starting right about now. For Michael, the microphone, Bob, squeaky chair in the back, and this big fat nerd, we'll be back later this week to talk about something Harrison recommended. We'll see you then.